Okay, members and friends, this is day 6 in the real world. Tomorrow's court. I'm pretty discouraged, really depressed. I don't feel positive about anything anymore. You know, slowly but surely my world is crumbling apart. My children's worlds are crumbling apart. My grandson's world is crumbling apart. Social worker took care of that, right? I haven't spoken to my lawyer. I'll speak to him tomorrow. I know where my daughter is. It's not any place I want her to be, but she wants to go to court tomorrow and speak to the judge herself. Even though she still has this lawyer, the only reason she reinstated this lawyer is for the simple fact is she knows that she won't get another one. Legal aid will refuse to give her another one, just like they refused to give her the one that she wanted. They appointed this lawyer to her, so in her mind she just feels that, some lawyer is better than no lawyer. So outside of that, though, she wants to make sure that he represents her fairly, so she's going to show up herself. That's what she says. But where she's at, it's hard to say. I'm hoping, she's been trying to detox herself out. From my understanding, she's signing up with some program, and she's kind of in partnership with somebody right now, doing it with somebody else that needs to detox out. And that's the problem, though, she needs to not necessarily be around those people, but she doesn't feel comfortable going off, and like I said, into Abbotsford, into some accredited program that, there's a high probability that she wouldn't make it for whatever reason. And she even takes responsibility for herself as well, because, she's going in without her son, and, she's had 6 months of a really hard time, and, she's quite agitated, and she's really not feeling well, and she's quite sick, so she just feels that it might be better just to try and go into the rehab in a different way, do the detox, but doesn't solve the problem of Andre coming home. So my daughter's not here anymore. Obviously I have to clean up the mess that she left behind, right? Which I will be working on throughout the weekend and whatnot. We want Andre home. Everybody wants Andre home. He just needs to come home. Really. So we can start building on our life again. And Andre can learn to be happy again. And produce music. So his auntie can play music again. I'm putting my 15-year-old in school next year. Turns out that she's been out of school for something like 5 years. That's a long time. She wanted to go last year, but she wanted to go to a different school, right? She didn't want to go to her local school, and I wouldn't let her go to a different school. I couldn't justify her hopping on a bus just to go to a different school, right? So, and she's, she has a learning disability and whatnot, and, she doesn't like to hit the books like my 17-year-old. So it should be interesting, but she's got some really good, really good strong points about her. She's a real people person, and she's helpful, and, she's good with elderly, and she's good with kids, and, she's helps me out when I need little things to do. She will, like last night, she helped me out with the garbage, took out the garbage with me last night, and so, that's new and exciting for her, but not if it's going to be nagging in the background that, her nephew is still being held hostage to a political system that is corrupt, right? And to public sector employee workers that are abusive and just have no moral compass, really. It's going to be hard to keep my kids, thinking positive about the future when none of us really feel positive about anything. I'm hanging on a thread financially with this house right now because when they kicked out my daughter, my dad's wife had a social worker, if you remember one of those videos. So I'm sure the social workers were, in between themselves and, calculating, right? Well, if we dick her here and we dick her there and we dick her there, it's just a matter of time before that bitch, me, Judy, is out on the streets, right? Because that seems to be the format with these people, right? They take the children away and they kick out the parents. Or In my case, they wait for the grandparent to fall flat on their face, right? So that, they can go back to the judge and they can say, but, oh, the grandparent doesn't have the means to look after the grandson or grandchild. So, you don't want to place the grandchild there with the grandparent, right? So 6 months later, we're still here. We're not dead yet. We're in the coffin. The nails are being put on the coffin, but there's no dirt on the coffin yet, and it doesn't mean we can't push ourselves out of that coffin yet. There's not that many nails on it, right? And that's pretty much how it feels. That's pretty much what it feels like, because for them, they just have the paperwork on their desk that they look at from time to time with their caseloads, but they don't walk the walk. They don't talk the talk. They don't live in the real world. They don't have to cope with the stuff that's been going on in the last 6 months in regards to my daughter and all the emotions that my kids have gone through, and the disappointment and the hurt and the fear and the terrorism that they've experienced and the abuse that they've experienced, via through social workers scowling at them and stuff like that. Prosecutors trying to push the mother out of court when the court orders the mother to be there, and the prosecutors trying to push the mother out of the courtroom. And like, my kids didn't deserve any of that. And they're coping with it, though, right? We're all coping. So we have court tomorrow. I'm just gonna pitter around the house. I'm pretty tired. Been working pretty hard, as usual. But I pace myself. I can do a couple, 2-3 days of, slave labor, right? Work like a dog, whatever you want to call it. And then, I have to give my body time to recuperate, because really, I'm probably no more than 100 pounds myself, right? I don't eat very much because I'm always busy. I eat enough just to sustain myself. And so if I finish Andre's room, I have to hang up the little thing for his guitar. There's a picture of, Old MacDonald Animal Farm I want to hang up. I'm doing my dad's taxes right now, and his wife's taxes, so I'll probably just leave the taxes in there for the weekend and try and do the taxes for the weekend and then pull that out, because we want Andre home next week. We really do. He deserves to be home. He doesn't deserve this. He doesn't deserve the abuse that he's been getting from these strangers that purport that they care about him, because it's obvious that they don't. Because if they did, they'd let him come home and be, develop into a normal little boy. Not some raging, angry human being that's going to end up in a box outside in 40 years from now. Broken down dresser with some mattress up against it with a crib beside it, like the last video.